my expectations, to be honest, is just be violent as possible. Like every position he's going to be in, every position we're in, he will be in pain.
Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now. All right, Steve, man, you revealed that your contract was complete after your last fight. You re-signed, obviously. How did the contract negotiation go for you?
It's pretty simple, man. I just let my manager do his thing, and sit back and just kind of he relayed stuff back to me, and I just, if I was okay with it, I was good, and if I had an issue, I'd say something. But yeah, man, it's fairly easy.
Did you have maybe some doubt that you would re-sign with them?
Maybe a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite sure. The UFC is just so cutthroat, man. It's hard, but you know what? Like we figured things out, came to terms. I do love fighting for the organization. The organization's great, and they give me some of the things that I've asked for, and I'm not complaining about it anymore. So yeah, man. Now we're just focusing on fighting. It's cool.
Yeah, for sure, man. The there's always pressure in fights, but I mean, there's that pressure of like keeping your job. There's a different pressure with that, right?
Yeah, man. I gotta feed my family, and I gotta do that stuff. It's not just like a hobby where it's just like, well, oh well, it didn't work out. It's not like that for me. It's like you dedicate. I think you have to have uh, almost a full schedule, a full thing on your play of training. It's just not boxing where you just train boxing. You gotta do grappling, you gotta do striking, you gotta do wrestling, you gotta do it all, and it takes almost a full time job to do this. On top, obviously, I work and I do other things too, but yeah, man, it's a heavy load. It's stressful when you are unsure if you may have a job or not.
You're lucky to have a full-time job as a fighter, man. There's so many guys. You train with so many guys that are coming up. You see the struggle. You've been through the
Yeah,
struggle.
yeah. It's crazy. I wish there was a better way. It makes tough fighters. It makes good fighters, but um, there's a short window in the sport, man, and everybody, just because it is so cutthroat, you can literally just have a bad day. That's what it is. You just have a bad day, and you can be gone. It's rough, but uh, most of us persevere through the tough times, and we end up making it. We stick around.
Yeah, man, much respect. And now your first fight on the new contract is a pay-per-view, which is always great, you know what I mean, to be on those
Yeah.
types of cards. And you got Shayilan Nuerdanbieke. What are your thoughts on him, man, and his fighting style?
I think that he is a phenomenal wrestler. That's probably his bread and butter. That's his strongest suit. I won't say that he can't strike. He does wing and he does throw his shots and stuff like that. But I think his biggest thing is that I think he's won majority of his fights through just being very controlling. He knows how to control where the fight goes, which is most wrestlers. But he can pin you against the cage for 15 minutes if you allow him, and then he figures out how to do that, and you just lost. You just lost half your paycheck. He definitely does that pretty well. He has some wins and he has some different uh, tools that I've seen him apply, and he was able to get a finish the last fight. I know that one was kind of weird, but um, I feel like that's the strongest suit. He knows how to get you to the cage, find control in some sort of way, and then you start losing on the clock. So we definitely have a game plan for it, and I plan to use it.
The clock could be your biggest opponent in this one. It possibly could,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I fought a couple of these guys, mainly at 35, and there's a lot of wrestlers down there. So you run into this, and I have lost, on the clock, and it's not a fun way to fight. I feel like the fans, they lose out, but at this point, it doesn't matter. That he's bringing home bold checks. So at the end of the day, get our job done. Make sure that we imply, we do our game plan and we impose our will. So that's just priority.
How important is that experience that you've had? I mean, fighting guys like him with a similar skill set and making those mistakes inside the cage. That's gonna allow you to apply stuff in your next fight.
I think it's helped me tremendously. Just knowing what to expect. Obviously every fighter is different. Everybody has, some different tools they can bring to the table. But man, I just knowing that I have had those fights definitely is just not necessarily a comfortable position, but I'm just not unfamiliar with it. Like I know what it's like. I know where I can lose. I know just like certain areas of the fight and what it can take place, where I need to capitalize on, and where I need to make sure that I don't allow him to control and be dominant and do his thing.
His last fight, if you just look it on paper, it looks like he got a quick TKO finish, but then there's that controversy surrounding that
Yeah,
fight. What
yeah.
did you think of that? Does it look odd to you, that fight?
Man, I don't know, man, because I'm cool with the guy that jacked his leg up. You know what I mean? So I can't. And then I'm cool with his coach. I've never trained with them, but we've had discussions and conversations and stuff like that. And I think that they're at the end of the day they're stand up guys. What happened? I couldn't tell you, man. I don't know. Uh, it definitely there's some questions. Obviously he threw the kick that was apparently injured several times. I don't know if maybe he felt that he hurt him with that shot and just went right back to it. I don't know. You know, I I'm not one to ask that question because I don't know, man. But at the end of the day, he's riding high on that. I don't know how you would feel about winning that way. Um, but I can't go off of that. I really can't. It's just he has other fights that I'm able to kind of pick and dissect, and that wasn't necessarily one of them. Obviously, I watched it a few times just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Um, so yeah, man, it is what it is.
Let's talk about your last fight, man. Chase Hooper. Was that your masterpiece? Because that was just phenomenal.
Oh man, thank you. Man, I don't know. I guess I had a little bit chip on my shoulder. The fight previous to that, didn't go my way. Um, I had an injury going into that fight, and I knew that wasn't. I mean, I think most people around me know that's not how I fight. But this is a crazy sport, man. And I talked to my manager, and luckily I have such a good management, Jason House and Team Iridium, and he was able to get me in to the PI, and we figured out how to work some of these things out, figure it out, and I told him I was like, just give me another shot, and I promise you, I'm not going to embarrass you. I was like, this is not, this is the real deal, and I'll show everybody else why. And it's not, I'm not the person that likes to show people, you know, um, that doubt me and prove them wrong. Like that's always like, I guess, cherry on top. But I just want to prove to the people that believe in me, like that really have been behind me, right? That they have the reason to believe in me. And so when I went in there, we worked on everything. We worked on everything. We worked on the striking, of course, and keeping it on their feet. I worked on the leg locks defenses and making sure that if we were on the ground, we were fine. We were comfortable. Um, but I definitely did not want it to go there because that is, the odds go in his favor when you're down there. And so I knew if I could keep it on my feet and just really just let my hands go, I was kind of just I was tired of holding back. I was able to go out there and apply. And he came at me, which was kind of something very, very unexpected. But I'm like, bro, like, I don't know if that's a smart idea. Uh, because he's had some tough opponents, and he's done well on the feet with them. So I get where that maybe that confidence is coming in, but there's levels, on different areas and on the feet, on the ground. If me and him are just having a straight jujitsu match, it's gonna be a whole different ball game. You know what I mean? If it's just having a kickboxing battle between me and him, it's going to be a bad day, and it kind of showed that. But I'm blessed, and I'm happy to get that win, especially with someone who has the hype behind him like he does, and I feel like I was able to kind of like you know change some minds about me, and in a good way. So I was happy about that.
uh, definitely changed a lot of people's minds if they had any doubts, whatnot.
Yeah,
And the dip under counter left, that clipped him a bunch of times. Did you see that in the tape? Was that something that you
yeah,
really
yeah.
prepared for? Okay.
We literally like it's funny because we have these private they're like invite only sessions at Jackson Wink, and we did this for a whole week straight. We have it every single day at like 2 o'clock, and this is just something that like Wink saw, and Wink's like, all right, we're just gonna duck it. We're just gonna duck it and counter with this overhand, and we did that just over and over and over again. To where I even got tired of doing it, and it plays out the way it plays out. And hey, man, you just gotta listen to your coaches sometimes, and things like that happen.
Well, he's a mastermind, so he
Um,
has
Wink's one
credentials.
of the best
Yeah, of
by far.
course, of course. You wanted the 50K. They gave you the 50K. Did you get the RV?
I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I didn't, man. I wanted to make sure that like financially, like everything was good. Paid a little bit of debt off, and um, I kind of invested in myself again. Like I bought a really nice treadmill because I have a gym here in I'm actually in it right now, and I have mats, and I have a whole like workout station. But I bought me a beast of a treadmill, so I did that. And uh, like I said, everything I do is for my family. And when I fight, it's for my family. I bought us a fridge because our fridge was struggling. You know what I mean? And uh, like the treadmill, I'd had a treadmill. It was okay. It was struggling a little bit. It was skipping on me. So I was like, all right, I got an excuse to get it. But the RV's coming. I'm just trying to be smart because you get money like that, and you do have people to pay and stuff, and you want to make sure they're taken care of first. Just gotta prioritize your things, and that RV can wait until the next one.
For sure.
We'll get another one down the road
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
for
Yeah,
sure.
you don't want to roll up on a brand new RV when you have some debts. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
not.
you don't want that. But hey, man, like I said, I was blessed to get it. It was a huge blessing, man. God bless me so much, and um, to be for the first time like kind of comfortable, like not like comfortable in the sense to where like I can do nothing because I still worked and I still did what I had to do, but to where I could just like sit down and just breathe for a second. You know what I mean? And I'm like, man, like I could almost just like appreciate all the hard work, everything, the weight cutting, all that stuff. And then it's like, all right, Steve, like you keep doing this, you keep going down that path. There's gonna be more to come. Just enjoy this one and just be, blessed and appreciative of it. And then we'll get back to the grind and plan out for another one.
Man, you go from a long, lanky opponent to a guy that's like shorter and stockier. How do you prepare for that?
Just like I said, I've had many of these fights at 35, and we I don't want to say we know the recipe. You know what I mean? Because I've beat a lot of them, and I've lost to some of them. You know what I mean? And it's always those ones that stand up. I fought a guy. His name was Joe Warren, and man, he was so good at it. And man, I was just against the cage, man, and I lost on time. That's literally what it was. And I caught him early on, and he's like, dude, I knew if I took too many of those, like I was gonna have a bad day. So I learned a lot from that, and now that I'm more experienced and um, all that, it's actually kind of nice to have a little bit of a change up because everybody that I fought has been over 6 foot. And now I got a little bit shorter guy, which is there's a little bit more of those around than the tall, lanky, really good jujitsu guys. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, it's just a little bit of a change up. It's kind of nice, a new look, and I have guys. I have tons of guys that do that. You know what I mean? It was tough to find uh, any sort of simulation to a 6'3" jujitsu guy. You know what I mean? Like, and at 145, it was not. It was kind of weird. you know. So definitely like this matchup a little bit better.
When you throw strikes, against like a taller guy or a shorter guy, is the target the same? Do you throw down the middle, like the level of the punches? Is there something to that?
You do throw down more, but when you're fighting someone tall, because you got to remember you got to be in an athletic stance, so they do come down a little bit. The difference is when you're getting hit from them when they're throwing their shot. Are you in range or are you out of range? Because when you fight a little bit shorter people, you typically are. You have the length advantage. You have the reach advantage. And so I can stick and move and do what I need to do, and I'm just out of range to where you can't hit me. But when you're fighting the taller people, you're just in range. So like where I think I'm safe, I may not be safe, and that's something that like you just have to be aware of when you're fighting the taller guys.
You mentioned an injury earlier, before the Chase Hooper fight. Did you get that something that taken care of, or was it something that wasn't that serious?
It's mainly taken care of. Like it gives me problems from time to time, but it's you know we all deal with these injuries and they all linger. I don't know if it'll ever be like 100% all the time, but I can get it pretty damn close. So right now we're feeling good. Like, and that's not a joke. Like I feel good. You know, other times you're just like, yeah, in these interviews, I'm 100%, I'm great, no injuries, and then I'm limping like right out, off the screen. But no, I really do feel good. The injury, it'll nag every once in a while, but for the most part, it's good.
You've fought in the small cage at the Apex. You fought in the big cage. There's a 5 foot difference. Is there a difference for fighters when you step in there, especially for a striker?
Yeah, no, there's a difference. Actually, most strikers like the bigger cages, just because you have more room to roam and to do your thing, and you can kind of stretch out a little bit. You know what I mean? You can take your time. When you're in a smaller cage, it's like the closer you are, the more action happens. Um, I guarantee he'd probably like being in the smaller cage than a bigger cage, just for that reason. You know what I mean? But honestly, I like the little cage. I like the action. I think that when we're fighting, you got to take into consideration that we're also entertaining. You know what I mean? And like have these like boring fights that like don't they just don't live up to what they expect or what you even expect. The fight to be. It's not cool. Like I like action. I like to throw, and for me, I even like to use all 15 minutes. If I have a 3 round fight, I use all 15 minutes if possible. Like I'd rather get started the moment that bell rings. We're back. We're working. You know what I mean? We're trying to beat each other up and make sure that it doesn't go to the judges. Um, but yeah, man, there is a big difference. Some people like the big ones, some people like the small ones. I like the smaller ones, but I've done fine in the big ones too.
Is it important to stay patient in the fight? Have you learned to do that more? I know the last fight only lasted like a minute and a half, but you know what I mean? Like in this one especially, like you have to be patient.
Yeah, I feel like being patient is definitely going to be a key factor in here, but also still doing me. You know what I mean? Like not being gun shy. I don't want to be gun shy in there. You know what I mean? Like we're here to freaking scrap. We're here to throw down. I'm gonna throw some chingazos, bro. Like we're letting punches go, dog. Like it's happening. Whether they like it or not. Like I said, for the most part, it works out good for me, but it's bit me in the ass a couple times. So um, just it's just like just being methodical in there, just being smart, like using my experience, using my the veteran in me to go out there and do what I need to do, but just do it a little bit better. In every single fight, just do it a little bit even more better than the last time.
You want to throw hands. How do you expect to perform? Like what are your expectations in this one?
My expectations is to really just go out there and just kind of not flawlessly
Hmm.
knock him out. You know what I mean? But bro, it's like my expectations, to be honest, is just be violent as possible.
Hmm.
Like every position he's going to be in, every position we're in, he will be in pain. He's not going to feel good. He's going to be uncomfortable in every position. He's going to be forced to move when he doesn't want to move. And that's truly my expectation. And I always see myself finishing. I don't like those, the decision makers, because that means that someone else has to decide if I get my second check or not. I want to know if I make that money or not, and um, I think we have the recipe to do it.
Yeah, yeah, and judging is ferocious. We've seen.
It's 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 gotten worse. I
Yeah.
don't understand. Like, I do think over time, and as many fights as there are every weekend, it would get better. It's not.
It's
It's
not.
gotten so much worse. And like I said, like that is a determining factor if we get paid our second check or not. And for me, I I come to win, and I show up. Everybody shows up. I come to win. You know.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that system, and I'll hate it until they fix it. But
Yeah,
fighters.
if you can give me like just one full check, you know what, man? Like, no matter what, nothing changes. I still don't want to lose. Nothing changes. Nothing changes at all. And I'm like, nah, dog. Like, I'm still doing it. But all I know is, like, when I go home and, like, if I lose and I don't get that second check, like, man, I'm stressing. I'm stressing to make sure that, like, I can still figure things out. You know what I mean? Or we get another fight online or whatever the case is. But I wish it was different as well.
April 8th, UFC 287, Miami. Steve, you're back in action. Go in the descriptions, download the AllStar app. Thank you so much, man, for taking the time today, and all the best in this matchup, man. I feel like it's a sleeper one for the card.
Yeah, man. I couldn't agree with you more, man. Like, we're at the bottom, but you know what? You're gonna see a couple highlights from our fight. That's for sure, man. I'm excited. I'm ready to go. I get to fight on a card with my other teammate Michelle. It's gonna be a good night.